more from Kaplan's extensive stock. The savings are
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a Cherokee.
Right this way.
But this is an Isuzu Trooper.
It's a much better.
Sailing to the 90s factory cash can save you up to $1,500 on a Trooper.
Right now, McDonald's is celebrating the Super Bowl with both a $1.09 McDLT and a 99-cent quarter pounder with cheese. But here in Homer, we're wondering why they picked the Super Bowl when they could have celebrated the sporting event of the year.
We'd like to thank McDonald's for honoring all us Super Bowl fans with both a $1.09 McDLT and a 99-cent quarter pounder with cheese. In return, the folks of Homer, Alaska would like to offer McDonald's the key to our fine city. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Quality of instruction, excellence of students, values learned. However you look at it, Catholic schools score high. In fact, national studies show that Catholic school students excel in math, science, and reading, among others. They're also more likely to complete their education to grade 12 and to enroll in college. A Catholic school provides one of the best educations in America. That's why my parents chose a Catholic education for me, and why I've chosen one for my daughter.
Don't miss the 1990 Northeastern Pennsylvania RV and Camping Show, Thursday through Sunday at the Kingston Armory. Register to win a $28,000 travel trailer. No purchase necessary.
Bill Cosby and supermodel Elle McPherson on the next Live.
South Africa's president is meeting with jailed black leader Nelson Mandela today. There is speculation Mandela will be released from prison, and the two are working out details now. President F.W. de Klerk addresses the South African parliament tomorrow and may announce the release. East Germany's leader is openly talking about reunification. Hans Modrow has unveiled a plan to unite East and West Germany free of military blocs. The country would be governed by a joint parliament in Berlin. The president's State of the Union address is getting both praise and criticism today. Bush's plan to cut superpower troops is getting the thumbs up, but his talk about improving domestic programs is being shot down because lawmakers don't know where all the money will come from.
The United States Supreme Court is celebrating its 200th birthday today. The court has come a long way in 200 years. Its first scheduled session was put off a day back in 1790 because not enough judges showed up. Today, the nation's highest court handles about 5,000 cases every year. And unusually heavy snow has caught some people in Tokyo by surprise. 5 inches of snow slicked up roads and even made Japan's reliable trains run just a little bit late. And there's a picture in California. Surf's up there thanks to a stormy weather system in the Pacific. Waves nearly 20 feet high, enough to challenge any brave swimmer or a surfer, who could then become part of the health watch as he has his head examined.
The men's bowling finals are this coming weekend. Tim Carlson is live tonight from South Scranton. Tim?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they are coming up this Saturday. Marisa and Frank at 1 o'clock live here on WNEP TV. The men's finals of the Super 16 bowling tournament coming up from Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre. Now, today I'm at Southside Lanes in Scranton, and we're going to be talking to 3 of the 5 finalists in just a second. But first, let's take a look and see how they set up for this coming Saturday's finals. There you see the #1 seed, James Hurst of Scranton. Dave Bainbridge of Scranton, the #2 seed. At #3 is Joe Cordish of Jessup. From Exeter, the #4 seed, Rick Janowski. And the #5 seed is Myron Brown from Ulster around Towanda. The alternate is Rich Holden of Chinchilla. Now, 3 of the top 5 did some bowling early this afternoon. This is the 3rd seed, Joe Cordish from Jessup. He bowls in 3 leagues, carrying a combined .210 average. Joe's highest league game is .298, but he has bowled a .300 in practice. That's Joe Cordish. 2nd seed right there is Dave Bainbridge of Scranton. He averages .211 in 3 leagues. Dave has bowled 23 perfect 300 games, 4 .299s, and had 7 800 series. That's Dave Bainbridge throwing a strike right there. And Jim Hurst is the top seed. Jim's from Scranton and currently a student at Bloomsburg University. He makes time to bowl in 2 leagues where he carries a .222 average. Jim has bowled 3 300 games. His highest league series is 792. That is top seed Jim Hurst. And we are live with 3 of the top 5 seeds here at Southside Lanes. And first of all, let's talk to Joe Cordish. Joe, you're the #3 seed. Now, you get a chance to bowl before the other 2 guys. Do you think that's an advantage?
Well, maybe I get a little more time to line up, you know, get a better shot down, try to get a better line to the pocket.
And obviously, you got to beat 2 more people to win, though.
Right. It's a long way to go.
Good luck to you on Saturday. Thank you very much, Joe Cordish. And Dave Bainbridge Dave, you've had quite a few 300 games in your career, and you've bowled a lot. How do you like this kind of thing in a TV tournament?
I like the setup. The format is excellent. The semifinals was just unbelievable.
So you're looking forward to Saturday and doing well on TV?
Yeah, I hope so. I'll do my best.
What about the fact that you have to bowl a couple of games before you get to the top game or bowl a game? You think that's an advantage of letting you get used to the lane?
I feel pretty comfortable starting from the second seed. I get to watch 2 games prior to me bowling, and I only have to win 2 matches to win it.
That's one positive way to look at it. Thanks a lot, Dave. Best of luck to you on Saturday. And here is our top seed. And Jim, I know you haven't been bowling as long as maybe Dave has, but I know you've been bowling a lot over the years. You still have time to bowl in 2 leagues, even though you're in school. What have you done to get mentally ready for this big tournament coming up on Saturday?
Well, I was pretty nervous about the tournament earlier this week, but I had a talk with a good friend of mine, Joe Hutchinson. He seemed to really settle me down earlier this week.
Joe, of course, is a young man who has been bowling on the tour for quite a few years. I'm sure he's thrown some good tips your way.
Yeah, he's told me what to do Saturday, how to stay loose, what I can watch in the other opponents in the games before me.
All right, best of luck to you, and you're the top seed, so everybody will be gunning for you. That's Jim Hurst. And we thank the other gentlemen for showing up this afternoon here at Southside Lanes as we talk more about the men's bowling tournament, Super 16 Championship, coming up on Saturday from Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre. Now, guess where I was and who I saw this morning? Take a look. Here's the answer for you. Yep. That's Coughlin High School of Wilkes-Barre, where I was, and the person right there is Joe Paterno, the Penn State head coach. Joe spoke in an assembly at Coughlin, but
after these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Listen to the sounds of a ho, in apple cinnamon Cheerios. Have you heard the apple sweet crunch? Apple sweet and great to eat.
The apple sweet crunch that'll shake you up is part of this complete breakfast.
Listen to the sounds of a ho, in apple cinnamon Cheerios.
It's not like algebra. It's not like cleaning your room. It's not like homework. It's one thing you do just for kicks. Chocolate, caramel, and that great cookie crunch. One of life's great kicks, Twix. Now, why don't you chew on that? Oh, yeah.
I know I should drink milk, because it'll help me grow up big and strong. Milk's got stuff that's good for my bones and stuff that's good for my muscles. I guess that's okay, but I'm more interested in having fun. That's what makes milk so neat. You can drink a lot of it, and it tastes cool, so it can be a real pick-me-up. Milk, it does the body good.
Wanna keep the noise out, you just gotta shout. That nasty dude is after your food. Domino's. You want Domino's pizza? Make a great scene. You really know how.
The victory was scream.
I'm Captain O.G. Readmore, a reading kind of cat. Read a book like me, you'll soon agree that reading is where it's at.
Here are the hosts of the ABC Weekend Special, Captain O.G. Readmore and Richard Dean Anderson.
Poor Ralph. Richard, how can he get out of this mess?
Well, I'm not sure. We'll see next week.
Oh, I think I'll read the book. I can't wait. I say, are you leaving?
Yep.
Want me to bring my motorcycle next week?
Oh, would you? Oh, could I go for a ride? Could I imagine me a cat on a motorcycle? Oh, I can hardly wait. It's so...
Next on the weekend special, it's not easy being a mouse. But when the going gets tough,
I have the medicine for you. Trust me. I know what I'm doing.
this mouse gets going. It's Ralph to the rescue in part 2 of The Mouse and the Motorcycle.
Tomorrow, a death in the family has an unsettling effect on Corky on Life Goes On. Then, kids just like you are TV stars. You can be a TV star, too. So can your dog, your kitty, even your baby sister can. Drop in on America's Funniest Home Videos. Tomorrow, all starting at 7, 6 Central.
In 1954, he was a 19-year-old boy with a dream.
I heard the news.
His dream made rock and roll history. Elvis, Tuesday after Roseanne.
I've been thinking, it's time to make a decision out of high school.
Well, we want to make sure there are small class sizes.
And the school should place priority on career-oriented programs through academic training.
We want her to be able to form leadership skills and develop self-discipline, too.
A positive attitude in moral and spiritual development is also important.
Mom, Dad, I want to go to Bishop Hoban High School.
For more information, please call 829-2424.
The wackiest inventions ever. Tonight at 7 on WNEP.
The following is a WNEP TV sports exclusive. WNEP TV, the leader in local sports coverage, is proud to present the finest bowlers in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Today, live from Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, it's the WNEP TV Super 16 Men's Championships.
And a good afternoon to you. We are live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre for the finals. Yes, the Super 16 Men's Championship this afternoon. And with me is Joe Zone and Dan Gezzi. And Joe, I know we're expecting to see some high-powered bowling this afternoon.
Well, I think this is the culmination of what has been an incredible tournament. 2 weeks ago, we had the youth bowlers out here, young, still learning the game a little bit. Then last week, the women, their championship finals, they like to use accuracy. They go for the spares. This week, power bowling. These bowlers will explode into the pocket. We expect to see some big scores this afternoon.
And that is for sure. And 4 of the 5 bowlers this afternoon, Joe, and Dan Gezzi, our tournament director, have something in common. What is that, Dan?
Well, the top 4 bowlers are all power players. Myron is an accuracy player. We'll be seeing him first. It's going to be a great show today.
Absolutely. We'll see if it's accuracy over power or vice versa this afternoon. Our Super 16 Men's Bowling Championship coming up right after this.
Today's Super 16 Bowling Championship is brought to you by Rolling Rock, same as it ever was, and by Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply, Hazleton.
Give us a couple of Rolling Rocks, please. Repeat after me. We tender this premium beer. We tender this premium beer for your enjoyment. For your enjoyment. As a tribute to your good taste. As a tribute to your good taste. It comes from the mountain springs. It comes from the mountain springs. To you. To you. 33. 33? I now pronounce you man and beer.
Rolling Rock, same as it ever was. Now, at a pro shop near you, Brunswick is delivering a 100% urethane monster. We're delivering the power of a rhino. The hardest charging ball in America. 5 distinct formulations. Brunswick's Rhino reigns.
Janitor to the pro shop, please.
Welcome back to Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, part of the packed house here today, ready to see the Super 16 bowling finals for the men. And before we get started, Joe Zone is with the top seed in our tournament.
The #1 seed, the bowler at the top, Jim Hurst from Scranton. You sit back and watch the other competitors. Have you thought about that?
I put a little thought into how I'm going to watch them from down the other lanes, and I can stay pretty loose down. A few lanes down, we get to throw some practice, and I just get to watch my opponents for the hour.
Now, there's a big crowd here watching, TV crowd at home. Have you thought about wanting to get up there maybe first? Is that an advantage or a disadvantage, or do you like the idea of sitting back? I mean, I know you don't have a choice, but what was your preference?
I really don't have any preference. It's just that I happen to fall into the first spot, and I got to live with that right now.
The one thing is, being at the top, you don't have a lot of opportunities to find yourself make a mistake. You got to come out and find the lane right away.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stay loose on the other lanes, and we get some practice when we first come up here. So I should be able to make a couple good shots and find my mark really quick.
All right, Jim Hurst at the top, the #1 seed. He will be bowling later on, but right now, we are ready for our first match.
And let's take a look at our two bowlers in match #1. There you see Myron Brown, the 5th seed, Myron from Ulster, PA, and Rick Janowski, who bowls out of Modern Lanes, and he is from Exeter. And there you see Rick ready to go. And Joe and Dan, I guess it's time to do it. I guess that's a fitting way to start out our telecast this afternoon, huh?
Right away, you can see going way outside, throwing it out to that first board, and then bringing it way back in.
This is Myron Brown now. A couple of gorgeous shots to start us off.
Dan, pretty much the same line?
Oh, yeah, they're playing the same line, except you'll see Myron strokes through the ball more than Rick does. Rick goes for the power.
And, of course, Myron will now continue and bowl the second frame. Since Rick started out, Rick, of course, will finish it up. Myron Brown from Ulster, PA, up in Bradford County. So he starts with a double.
Both players are looking good right now.
They both seem to have that good line. Kind of cradles the ball, Dan.
Yeah, Myron does cup his wrist to try and get a little bit more power on the ball. Perfect strike right there.
So you can't get it any prettier than that. Here's Rick Janowski now up in the second. Boom. Another perfect strike. What do you say?
Well, you expect to see a lot of strikes when you play that kind of a line, and if they find the line, and they've been out here practicing, as you watch his form, very way back and out.
Great backswing there.
Yeah, right now both these players are lined up, and it's going to come down to whoever is the more aggressive and it can take advantage of the key situations. Right now we're having a little bit of a problem with the ball return, so we'll just wait here.
Oh, there you see a shot of the ball stuck down on the ball return.
Stanton Lane in Wilkes-Barre, one of the largest bowling centers I have ever seen. This might be the largest one in Pennsylvania with 50 lanes here.
Now, we don't know the gentleman's name who's bringing the ball up there. Of course, you don't see him right at this moment as you take a look at the score with the tie score. A couple of strikes up through 2 for each player. But I don't think that gentleman thought he was going to be on TV today. Let's take a look at Myron's form once again, Dan, and you talked about cupping the ball there.
Yeah, see how his wrist is cupped up, but watch his shoulders, hips, and legs. They're all straight towards the target. Goes right at it, keeps his eyes on the target until the ball gets past there. Beautiful style.
Bends those knees to get that ball down on the lane smoothly.
Yes, and to give him some added leverage.
Myron Brown, what an incredible... This man is in the record books, by the way. He said he was bowling a couple of... well, a while ago in his Friday night mixed league, he came out with a 279. Figured that was it. He would be all set. He comes out next game and rolls a 299 and leaves an 8-pin up. Then he says, well, I'm done for sure now, and comes out and bowls a 300. Unbelievable. How about that series? That is the 5th highest series, an 878, the 5th highest series ever recorded.
There you see the standings of our Super 16 championships coming into this match. Myron Brown, the number 5 seed, Rick Janoski, number 4. Those two are bowling right now. The winner to take on Joe Cordish. And then, of course, the winner of that match to take on Dave Bainbridge, with the winner of that match to take on number 1 seed Jim Hurst of Scranton. And we have a great afternoon of bowling for you. We're just trying to get the ball return fixed on lane number 43 here at Stanton Lanes. And the unsung heroes of the bowling lanes taking care of things right now, the guys that keep things rolling. And there you see Rick once again.
Rick opens up more. See how the right shoulder came back, but then squares up at the line. That's where he gets that added power and leverage. That ball return problem is probably the only thing that's going to stop his ball today.
So they're dead even after 2, both bowlers working on a double.
And we're ready to go now.
Well, how's that for the mark of a guy who's really concentrating? A little chance there, maybe be distracted. He had to sit and wait a couple of moments, but came right back up, right back on the same line and blew him away.
And he was throwing strike after strike in practice, and he seemed to continue that here on lanes 43 and 44. Now here's Myron Brown up in the 3rd. Well, these guys are unbelievable.
Yeah, a small break like that is something that can really unnerve a player, and you see both these players handle that very well.
Well, so far, perfect for both gentlemen.
Easy game to keep score for today.
Yeah, even I can keep track of this one, Dan. Wow. That's 4 straight strikes for Myron.
Well, you guys know this is an easy sport. There's nothing to this.
My goodness gracious.
There's a lot of experience out on the lanes today. These bowlers have all been bowling a long time, and they don't just bowl. They try to learn the game and try to master it, and we're seeing some really good talent there.
7 straight strikes we've seen in this very first game. What an afternoon of bowling we have for you. Make it 8 straight.
You know, when these two bowled in the finals, they threw up some big numbers. Janoski defeated Brown 257 to 236. So these guys have already been up against each other, and they have both rolled big games. We're looking at 4 straight.
You know, Dan, all of these strikes, too, are no doubt about it jobs. None of these wavering pins or anything like this. They're all going in the pit simultaneously.
Yeah.
Look out. Crossed over there.
Yeah, there was our first mistake. Rick got a little bit fast there, got ahead of the ball, and then pulled it to the left.
And you watch
him here. He's a little bit fast. Hard to tell in slow motion, but watch the ball position when his left foot reaches the foul line. Just a little bit behind him.
Tries to pick up the 6 now for a spare. And he covers it for a mark in the 5th. So our first non-strike frame of the afternoon.
You know, it looks so easy when they throw these strikes, but I think what you have to realize is if you miss by just a little bit, you're in trouble. I think that's what's so incredible, that they hit that spot.
Now, if Myron can hit here, he'll have a 21-pin lead. And he doesn't.
Time he got a little wide.
Yeah, I think Myron really wanted that one. Got a little bit more aggressive. His ball doesn't hook back like the other one when he picks up the speed on it. Ball came in light.
I'm sorry, Dan, excuse me.
A tough spare here, Tim.
I was just going to say, this is not an easy spare, the 2-8, because you got to hit it head on or you're not going to pick up that 8-pin in the back. Wow. An open frame in the 5th for Myron Brown. So let's see where we stand. Myron trails by 3 pins in the 4th frame. Let's take a look at Myron as he fails to convert this 2-8. Now you can see he's not happy.
He didn't believe it either. I don't think he believed he could miss them both.
So Myron with a 114 in the 5th, having opened. Now bowling in the 6th. He crosses over, and yeah.
Kind of natural reaction, isn't it, Dan? The last ball he threw, he got over there a little bit light, so this time he comes back and maybe tries to adjust, gets tight, and we've got quite a match here.
There you see the score. We'll be back with the completion of this first match of the men's Super 16 championships right after this.
Athletes know that knee injuries can end careers. They also know that prompt treatment by a sports medicine specialist can return them to play. This is Mel Allen for the Knee Center, Northeast Pennsylvania sports facility for knee injuries. Professional, amateur, or weekend athletes with knee problems should consider the Knee Center. The Knee Center utilizes the latest techniques, including outpatient arthroscopic surgery. The Knee Center, just off I-81 below the Wyoming Valley Mall, Wilkes-Barre. When your knee hurts, call the Knee Center first.
When the class bell rings, your child becomes my child, too. So I'm going to do everything I can to help that kid succeed. But I can't do it all. Kids grow up so fast. We just get one chance to give them what they need. So what we give has to be the best. The best help you can give at home has always been Encyclopedia Britannica. It gets kids started on a lasting love of learning. And that makes a big difference in school and in their lives. This booklet will tell you more, and it's free. To get it, just call this toll-free number. Then, when you preview Britannica in your home, you also get this 3-volume desk reference set free. There's no obligation. Look, if we want terrific things to happen for your child, we've got to work together. But right now, all you have to do is make one toll-free call. Oh, there's the bell. Well, I've got a class to teach, and you've got a call to make.
For your free booklet and details on how to receive your 3-volume desk reference set, call toll-free.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters, giving it all they've got.
I've got it.
And you can get it too. All the action, all the fun. Sweet, the Harlem Globetrotters, they've got it all.
Who got it?
I've got it. How sweet it is. The Harlem Globetrotters' biggest world tour ever. And it's rolling your way.
Sunday, February 25th at the Catholic Youth Center. Tickets at the box office and Ticketron are charged by phone. The Harlem Globetrotters from Electric Factory Concerts.
The biggest sportsman's show in the East. Tomorrow at 6:30 on 16.
Here we are live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, our first match of the men's Super 16 championship, and Myron Brown coming across and getting the strike as the number 9 pin kicks out there, Dan.
Yeah, it's important for Myron to reach out with his arms and shoulders as he goes through the shot. On that one, he pulled back. That made the ball hook to the left.
Now, Joe, Rick Janoski, if he can put a strike up here on the 6th, can take a 15-pin lead in this match.
That's right. They're coming out after the break, and sometimes you wonder if that bothers a bowler, but just remember, all of these bowlers bowl in leagues, and they're used to having to bowl, sit down, bowl, sit down. So the break really shouldn't be any concern.
Very good point. Rick Janoski now. Wow. Now, I understand, Dan, that is a spare break, the 2-8-10. That years ago you didn't see, but it was these urethane balls or something I heard that made the spare show up all of a sudden.
Yeah, with the advent of the urethane balls and the urethane lane conditions, you get a much sharper break in the back end, which allows you to leave certain spares like this. This one is virtually impossible to make without getting some luck. He's going to want to hit the 2 into the 8 and hope they bounce around.
It didn't happen, but he got most of the wood, so there's an open for Rick. And that golden opportunity to take a big lead goes by the boards. He has a 135 through 6.
And we're virtually even at this point. It's just a matter of pin fill as we head into the final 4 frames.
Exactly. Rick Janoski now in the 7th frame. Looks good. Yes.
Back on the line that he had established in those first 4 frames. It looked like he had lost it there for a couple of frames, but he definitely was back on that very successful line.
Well, a sign of a good bowler, though, to be able to regroup and get it back after having an open.
Yeah, well, these bowlers all know their game pretty good, and when they do something wrong, they can usually tell.
Here's Myron Brown now, up in the 7th, working on a strike in the 6th. Boom. So he's on a double.
That is just so pretty to see that roll in there. And that takes a 10-pin lead now, going into the 8th.
Rick Janowski, who bowls and works at Modern Lanes in Exeter, and Myron Brown from Ulster in Bradford County. Lovely area. Looks good. A little high, and oh boy, that really broke through at the last second.
Yeah, it looked to me like Myron carried that shot through. He was aiming it a little bit too much. Lost a little speed. It hooked a little more. Big split here.
This is makeable, though. It's very difficult, I know, Dan, but it is makeable.
Once again, he's going to want to hit the ball into the 6-10 and hope something bounces around.
Well, he gave it a shot, but that's a tough break. So another open for Myron Brown as he was working on a strike in the 7th. So through 8 now. What is that? 169.
And a big opportunity now for Janowski to take the lead.
There's the scoreboard as Rick gets ready to bowl in the 8th, working on a strike in the 7th. Wow, that 10 pin just didn't want to go.
As you can see there, the ball came in a little bit light, and the 6-pin just fell over into the gutter instead of coming off the wall and taking out the 10.
Cross lane for the 10, and he covers.
And everybody who bowls with a right-handed hook knows that the worst pin to throw at down there is that 10 pin on the corner.
A chance now for Rick to take the lead. He really only needs 5 pins at this point. He's going to get all of them. A strike up in the 9th for Rick Janowski.
There you see Rick. This was a big strike for him. He needed this strike to ensure that Myron would not be able to shut him out.
And that's a 6-pin lead.
Boy, what a match.
Very good.
Myron Brown now in the 9th. Good mix there. Oh, he liked it too.
And Myron really bore down in that shot. Got more pin action because of the aggressive release he had that time.
There's the score, both with a strike up in the 9th.
Brown with a possible 229.
That's a tough break in the 10th.
That is just the worst ball to get there. Well, you saw it charge right through the head pin. He came up a little bit high again, brushed through.
Dan,
he has to go for this.
No, you're absolutely right, Joe.
Yeah, he'll try to slide the 6 over, taking out the 7.
That last ball just seemed like it didn't want to cross over completely. If it would have, it may have been a different story. Nope. So he leaves it open in the 10th. Finishes with a 197.
Yeah, what Rick needs here to win this match, on the 2 balls, he has to count a total of 7 pins.
So he will throw this one right down the middle, I suspect, and to keep away from the alley.
And there's 7.
Boy, this game sometimes can just drive you right out of your mind, can't it, Dan?
Well, when we started this match, we thought we were going to see a 300, at least some real big 200. And it looks like we're going to end up with the winner having about a 203.
And once again, we're having a bit of a problem with the ball return. There you see the score.
And he doesn't need to do anything here. If they could leave his ball actually on the ball return, and he has this one wrapped up. So Rick Janowski will move on to the next game. And he will bowl against Joe Cordish of Jessup. 202 already on the board without converting anything here. And it's ironic, both bowlers started with 4 baggers, and then maybe a little breakdown in concentration or whatever, but they lost the line a little bit, had some trouble throwing strikes.
There's that nasty spare, Dan, the 2-8-10, and as you like to say, virtually impossible to pick up. And how about that? There's Nikki Dunleavy, the young lady who was our Super 16 bowling champion, and a couple of weeks ago she wasn't quite that calm.
She was pulling the hair, not twirling.
I've had an opportunity to speak with some of the children who bowled in the youth finals at Valley Lanes 2 weeks ago, and they all said what a wonderful tournament it was and what a good time they had. And I'm just glad to be a part of this and put something together this well for them.
And there's just part of our audience here.
See, the ball comes in light again, takes the 3-pin straight back. Head pin went in front of the 2-pin. There's nothing left over there to hit the 2-8.
Were you a little bit surprised that he still stayed out there with his original line and played it so close to the edge? I thought he might just try to go down the middle and get the 7 for sure. There was a little danger out there.
What he did on that shot, knowing that he only had to count 7 on 2 balls, he threw the ball harder just to keep it in play. He didn't want to throw his normal strike mark because there is the possibility that he could slide it into the gutter if that happened. He probably wishes he didn't leave such a tough spare because he would have another opportunity to get a practice ball in if he was able to spare in the 10th.
That's a good point. Now, that's something I would have never thought of. Just getting the spare to be able to throw one more ball before he bowls in the next match. Right. Interesting point.
And one thing we've seen here with the power of Rick Janoski, the power players have to keep going for the power. As soon as they back down for accuracy, you usually see their ball overhook or they'll slide it too far. Rick has to go with his game. His game is power.
Yeah, it looks like we're ready to go now, and thanks once again to the gentleman for taking care of the ball return. We hope that'll be the final time this afternoon.
And if it had to be at a spot, it's probably fortunate that it was at least at the end of the match when it really didn't affect the shot.
Absolutely. He drives right through and picks up the 2 and the 8, leaves the 10 and open in the 10 for Rick Janoski, but nevertheless he is the winner of this first match as he comes up with a 202, defeating Myron Brown with a 197. There you see the final score. Excuse me, I say 202, I meant 203. So my addition is not that good, and that's the story here in the first match. We'll be back to see Rick Janoski face Joe Cordish right after we take this break.
Being a professional means being on the road for weeks at a time, staying in hotels, living out of a suitcase. But then you get to the tournament and you feel right at home. Why? Because you're playing on a Brunswick.
And you'll feel right at home with your Brunswick, the world's most popular pool tables. Beautiful Brunswick slate tables for the home, designed for maximum playability and durability. Brunswick, a tradition of excellence since 1845. For your nearest dealer, see the yellow pages or call toll-free.
Bowling is fun and exciting and, best of all, inexpensive. It's the perfect family sport in northeastern and central Pennsylvania, the bowling capital of the East. Our bowling fun centers provide a great indoor winter sport that the whole family loves. Bowling's back and better than ever, and each area center has its own unique extras that make your night out really special. Food, fun, friends. At your participating northeastern and central Pennsylvania Bowling Fun Center, look for the colorful red, white, and blue banner. If you haven't bowled for a while, come see what you've been missing.
Win with the Lilac.
Everybody wins when you bowl in the fastest growing tournament in the world. Call 1-800-36-LILAC and win. We're planning to pay over $900,000 in 14 great events. Enter the men's, women's, and mixed events. And
win with the Lilac.
Enter now. There's team, doubles, and singles events. Everybody wins with a great time at the Lilac. Bowl in the fastest growing tournament with over $900,000 in prizes. Call now and
win with the Lilac.
We are live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre for the second match of our Super 16 championship. Rick Janoski on the right, who just defeated Myron Brown to move up, and he will face the number 3 seed, who happens to be Joe Cordish. And Joe is a youngster who can really, really crank the ball. I say youngster, and Joe, what is he, like 24 years old?
I don't think he'll be 24 until October.
Wow, so he's just 23 years old.
Yeah, and we get our first look at a left-hander in this championship. They're still having a problem with the ball return. Apparently a belt is worn and is blowing the fuse. They're going to change the belt, so that this should be the end of the problem.
So let me ask you this, Dan. A lot of people talk about left-handed bowlers having an advantage over right-handers. Truth to that?
In certain circumstances, it is true. The left-hander's lane is not breaking down as quickly as a right-hander's because there's obviously not as much play over there. I would say from watching last week, we've always bought 16 games, this house is pretty equal on both sides. I don't think there's an advantage one way or the other.
The last time these guys got together, Joe Cordish and Rick Janoski, they kind of split 2 matches. Rick Janoski losing to Joe Cordish 227 to 230, then came back and defeated him 225 to 219. So these guys have bowled against each other before and have each won one of the 2 matches. And there you see the technicians trying to take care of the problem with the ball returns.
Something that you won't see every day, by the way, at a bowling alley is lanes coming apart and the guys getting in there and fixing them up.
And you better know what you're doing when you're fooling around with that stuff, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I think it's ironic that we have 50 lanes here. I mean, actually 50 lanes. And the 2 that we are bowling our TV finals on today happen to be the ones in trouble.
And just to let you know that we're trying to stay on the 2 lanes that we have set up with our cameras, obviously, to give you the best look at the bowling today. So that's why we're trying to fix,
however,
the ball return on 43 and 44.
If I may interrupt him, they are practicing all on 41 and 42 in case they have to make a switch, which are right next to the 2 TV lanes. So
now Dan, what does that do for them to practice on 2 other lanes that they're may not end up bowling on?
Well, the 4 lanes here, 41, 42, and the TV pair, 43 and 44, they've all been oiled and conditioned the same way. So the shots are basically the same. And right now, I think this is a break that Rick Janoski really wanted. He wasn't so sure of his shot when he finished that match last game. And this will give him a chance to loosen up and find that line back and start throwing strikes again.
All right, now what does this do to the top seed, or the 2 guys that are still waiting to bowl, because now they're waiting longer? What do you think that does for them?
I really don't think it's going to have an effect on anyone who hasn't already been bowling on 43 and 44. They knew they were going to have to wait, and they'll just have to sit back and wait.
By the way, the young man on the right, who is Joe Cordish, he is from Jessup, and his brother, Randy, quite a wrestler in high school for Valley View High School. All righty, we're going to be back in just a second, hopefully with more of this second match, actually the start of it, right after this message.
Today's Super 16 Bowling Championship is brought to you by AMF Bowling Equipment and their area distributor, Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply Company, Hazleton.
Okay, guys, I'm closing up early tonight.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night, sweetheart.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night. Good night.
Rolling Rock, same as it ever was.
Attention, all Americans age 65 or older on Medicare. Medicare cut back your benefits on January 1st, leaving you paying more. If you do not have a Medicare supplement, you are advised to protect yourself with National Home Life's Secure Care plans that cover the new expenses as well as help cover Medicare's existing gaps. Call this number now. If you have a Medicare supplement, you are advised to compare it to all these benefits Secure Care covers. Call this number now. Secure Care matches Medicare's cost increases, pays benefits benefits not found in many other plans, like care at home and excess doctor charges. Plus, comes with affordable rates and personal customer service. Don't miss this opportunity to call now for free information on Secure Care.
Call 1-800-332-7300. 1-800-332-7300. 1-800-332-7300.
Each participant in today's Super 16 Bowling Championship will receive a pair of Endicott Johnson and Dexter bowling shoes, a Rhino bowling ball, and a bag by Brunswick, all courtesy of Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply Company of Hazleton.
Live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, the men's Super 16 Bowling Championships. Ready to start match number 2. Hopefully in just a few seconds, as soon as the ball return problem that we've had is corrected. And Joe, it gives the bowlers who are going to bowl in that match a little more chance to warm up. How about the top 16 in the Super 16 men's championships, Joe?
Well, we've already seen, of course, Myron Brown losing that first match to Rick Janowski, Joe Cordish, Bainbridge Hurst Jr., the alternate from Chinchilla, Rich Holden. Number 7, finished in the 7th spot, Rich Sutton of Towanda. Jack Current out of Luzerne. Kevin Stabler from Williamsport. Jim Sabatel bowls out of Music. Mark Neely in Montrose. Chet Simonson from Scranton. And Edward A. Hamilton from Milton. Gary Frisbee from German. Larry Faust of Danville. And the number 16 bowler, Tim Remley of Berwick. The top 16 in the Super 16 Men's Championship. Congratulations to them and to everybody who involved.
All right, Dan, here's Joe Cordish now in his left-handed style.
See how he gets the ball out in front of him there. Good arm swing, brings it right back. Almost level, just a little bit higher. There you go. Now he comes down. Watch the force as he comes through the shot. You can see the leverage in that shot there. And that accounts for the big hook at the back end and all the power.
Those pins just explode. They look like they're going to crack in half when he hits them. Joe Cordish, his brother Randy, quite an athlete at Valley View, and the guys continue to work on this ball return. And again, we want to remind you the reason we're waiting, even though there are 50 lanes in this beautiful Stanton Lanes, is the fact that we have all our cameras set up to do the telecast on lanes 43 and 44, so we want to make sure we give you the best shot possible of this bowling. That's why we're trying to see if we can get things taken care of on 43 and 44, which, as Dan would call them, the TV lanes today.
Well, right now, the employees from Stanton Lanes working feverishly. It's nice to see somebody else work under pressure on live television for a change.
Pressure? This isn't pressure.
They are really feeling the heat.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Rick Janowski, by the way, who defeated Myron Brown, and there you see Joe Cordish there, and Rick standing there in the dark blue shirt. But Rick Janowski, of course, as we take a look at some of the things that he's done over the past few years, he's won a couple of singles tournaments, and he is quite a bowler, and 8th in the PBA regional tournament. And he told me that at one time at a no-tap tournament, which of course is when you hit, any time you get 9, you leave 9 or a strike or whatever. He had 70 strikes in a row in a no-tap tournament, and that's throwing the ball pretty good.
He's going to win a lot of goodies in those leagues at night playing the no-tap tournament, let me tell you.
But here it's full tap. You better hit them all down, or it doesn't mean anything on the score sheet except a 9.
Joe Cordish, by the way, says a friend of his challenged him to a little bowling match. He rolled a 300 against the kid the first time ever. So the kid wants revenge. He bowls his buddy the next day. He rolls a 299. So much for that challenge.
Wow, that's answering the challenge for sure.
Yeah, that's big time.
Dan, you see bowlers using 2 balls in a match, maybe one for the first ball and another one for the spare ball or whatever. Why do they do that?
Well, usually when you see a bowler using two balls, a different ball for the spare than he is on the strike, it's because he wants a ball that's not going to hook quite so much for shooting his spares. A good rule for anyone bowling is to try and throw a straighter ball on your spares than you do for your strikes. I personally feel that switching balls isn't the way to do it, though, because no two balls feel alike, and it's very easy to throw an errant shot when you switch a ball.
Now, we haven't seen our bowlers do that too often in any of the matches over the last few weeks. As you take a look at Joe Cordish, who really cranks the ball, and there you see Rick Janoski, who defeated Myron Brown in the last match to move on and up. And of course, the winner this afternoon gets a spot in the U.S. Open, plus $1,000 cash.
If these guys are union bowlers, we're in trouble. We'll have to pay them by the minute on TV here.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about that too much.
You know, and it's ironic. I know for a fact that the employees here have spent a lot of time this week getting this pair in shape and ready to go. And you never know when these belts are going to break or give you any problem. And they don't happen too often, and unfortunately it had to happen today.
I've never seen it happen, ever.
There you see Dave Bainbridge and Jim Hurst waiting in the wings, waiting for the winner of this match between Rick Janoski and Joe Cordish. Dan, these guys have to worry about getting tired at all, being able to throw all these practice balls?
I don't think so. These bowlers are all seasoned in competition, and there's a lot of tournaments where you bowl a lot of games under pressure similar to this, except for the TV being absent. I think they'll hold up pretty good, although there's got to be a lot of thoughts running through their minds right now, and the first few frames of the next match are going to tell a big story.
They're getting a lot of time on TV right now.
And of course, this is the final of our 3 championship series. Last 2 weeks we were out the youth division 2 weeks ago.
The winner, Nikki Dunleavy, who won the girls' Super 16 championship on her 16th birthday. We saw some great bowling with those kids. We were really proud of them. There you see Lou DeJoseph from Hazleton, our boys Super 16 champion. And he really put on the pressure cooker a couple of weeks ago. And you can see he was a happy man, happy young man. And
Kevin Schaffler.
He certainly bowled his heart out, too. You know, all these kids bowled superbly. There you see Carol Czar, our Super 16 women's champion, who bowled 4 consecutive strikes last week to finish out the game and take her championship. As she defeated Kim Dreamer. And there you see Kevin Schaffler again. I got a feeling we're going to see Kevin and hear about him a lot more, and also Lou DeJoseph and all our young bowlers. There's Jeannie Eisworth.
And the applause you may hear in the background, the gentlemen have fixed the alley, the lane, and we are ready to go.
How about that? All right, here we go. Match number 2 in the men's Super 16 championship coming up right after this.
Hey, it's Charlie Douglas on the road from Nashville, Tennessee.
The folks at Cindy Lou's Musical Mail Order have come up with a record offer that you're going to find hard to pass up. It's a big truckers special. There are 50 hit songs on 5 albums or 5 8-tracks or 5 cassettes. The choice is yours for $19.95. And each one of these albums is a national bestseller loaded with your favorite hit songs, and here are some of them.
That endless black ribbon means lonesome.
There at that crossroads was the end of a line for Big Joe and the Phantom 309.
Little maker, only Bill could understand.
Diesel smoke on Danger Road.
Going to Kansas City, here I come.
For the first time on television, Cindy Lou presents the Big Trucker Special. Remember now, you get 50 songs on 5 albums or 5 8-tracks or 5 cassettes, and the choice is yours for only $19.95. Your satisfaction is guaranteed by Cindy Lou's Music.
Whoa, I'm looking at the world through windshield.
And he said, Breaker 19, is anyone there? Come on back, truckers, and talk to teddy bear.
How she wiggles when she walks and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go.
5 hit albums, 5 8-tracks, or 5 cassette tapes. Your choice. Only $19.95. Only $19.95 for 50 great hits. Take it from me, Charlie Douglas. You'd have to go a long way to beat this trucker special.
To order COD or credit card, call toll-free 1-800-441-7575. That's 1-800-441-7575. Or save COD and handling charges by sending $19.95 for 5 LPs, 5 8-tracks, or 5 cassettes to Trucker Special, P.O. Box 8501, Nashville, Tennessee.
We're back live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, where we just can't catch a break here, Joe. We're trying to get this ball return completed and fixed up so we can complete the Super 16 Bowling Championship for the men. We're looking for match number 2 between Joe Cordish and Rick Janowski, and they thought they had the problem taken care of, but apparently not. And again, we want to remind everybody that the reason we want to get this taken care of is so we can complete the matches on 43 and 44, which are the lanes here, which are all set up with our cameras, and give you the best shot possible of this Super 16 Bowling Championship. And
okay, so they're going to move down, I believe.
Okay. And that's what we're going to do for now. We're going to move over to lanes 41 and 42 here so we can complete this. Meantime, if they get those lanes fixed, I'm sure we'll try to move back over there. But in the meantime, we're gonna go with these two gentlemen who have now warmed up on these lanes, Dan, and so they're familiar with what they've done over here. Although, like you said, the 4 lanes together here are pretty much the same, the way they've been treated.
Moving over a pair might make a difference now because the bowlers have gotten used to the seating where the audience was. There's a little bit more of a crowd down near the bowling area on 41 and 42. However, when you're out in the Pro Tour, there's all sorts of different distractions and all. We're looking to have the best bowlers compete in this, and if they want to go out in the Pro Tour someday, they're going to have to learn to handle distractions like this. It's a shame it had to happen, but occasionally it does happen.
Well, when you're dealing with the machines, that's what's going to happen. I mean, the space shuttle doesn't go up on time every time, and you know, that's going to happen. That's the way it is, and we apologize, of course, and we know the gentlemen are working on that as best as they can at this point.
And they are going to make it official now. They will move over to 41, and to 42 we'll just make a couple of camera adjustments, and they're going to go bowling.
Yeah, please bear with us now, and we hope we'll be able to show you this as good as possible. So that's the way it's going to look for now.
And I'm sure all of our viewers understand, of course, that the picture might not be exactly the same. You may not see the angles quite as well, but we think we'll still be able to give you a good feel for exactly what's going on here, and you'll be able to see right through to the end of the championship.
Did that start?
Now you got to wonder now if maybe this has made it a little tough on the guys who have been waiting so long to bowl. But then again, they've had that extra time to warm up, so we'll see what the bottom line is on this. And Rick Janowski starts out the first frame with a strike.
Yeah, and that's Rick's form there. That's the type of game he likes the ball. He was solid with that shot right through.
Again, we're trying to make some camera adjustments so we can move over to the 2 lanes that we have here. Rick Janowski now in the second, working on a strike in the first. And he comes over and kicks out that 10-pin. He'll take that one, but that's where that good action, that good mix gets you. A double now.
Yes, sir, Dave.
Joe Cordish now bowling in the second frame, having an 8 open in the first.
Okay.
He bounced that one. Still gets a strike. He's not happy with the delivery, but the result looks good on the score sheet, Dan.
Yeah, he got out of that ball a little early. That's why you heard the bounce, but he stayed with it. The long follow-through that Joe talked about last week, that's what saved that shot for him. Watch the arm come up.
Yeah, Joe, it didn't sound pretty, but the results were just fine. Joe Cordish in the third now with a strike up in the second. No, it slices through and ends up with a nasty split. The 2-6-7, or excuse me, the 3-6-7.
He's going to want to hook the ball towards the 6-pin, hoping the 3 will slide over and take out the 7.
Definitely a makeable spare. But he leaves that open again. 2 of the first 3 frames open for Joe Cordish. He's in some early trouble here. 34 through 3.
Yeah, Rick leading by 36 pins can make it 46 with the strike here.
And he does. So he starts out with a triple. And a commanding lead already, Joe.
Well, you come out with the first 3, and Joe Cordish had a little bit of problem there on 41. He had the strike rolling on 42, but on 41 he has had a problem both times up.
Boom. Make it 4 in a row. He's starting out this game the same way he started out the game with Myron Brown. Can't do it much better than this.
Very solid.
Nice and smooth, too.
Yeah, it's crunch time already for Joe Cordish.
He's got to start stringing some marks together. There's 1.
Well, he definitely likes 42. There's no question about that. Both of his strikes have been on 42, but this is a key critical ball for him on 5. He played in the 5th framer. He needs to find his spot here.
Well, he gets a break there as the 7 kicks out, but he was definitely light into the pocket with that one.
You know, as seasoned as these guys are, you practice all day on 2 lanes, and whether the lanes are different or not, it's a mental thing that maybe something is telling you it's a little different over here.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Rick took it to his advantage. Joe's a little bit frustrated right now. I don't think he has all his concentration.
So Joe with a 54 through 4 and a mark up in the 5th. In the 5th now, Rick Janoski working on a 4-bagger. Looks good again. Yes, that's 5 in a row.
He likes these 2.
And a monster lead for him right now. Rick Janoski going for his 6th straight strike. In this second match, he defeated Myron Brown in the first match. Again, make it 6. He knew it as soon as he threw it, too, Dan.
Yeah, he did. You could see how he was walking back, ready to run that one out a little bit. Rick looks really sharp right now.
66-pin lead at this point in the 4th frame. Joe Cordish trails by that. He bowls in the 6th. And he comes back and strikes as he had a spare up in the 5th. And makes up a little ground.
Well, 42 is definitely his lane. He's right on that. But he has no idea, I don't think, on 41.
Right now, though, Joe has to keep throwing strikes and hope that Rick somehow opens in the last 3 frames of this match. He's not happy with the way he threw it, but he likes what he saw at the end.
Well, he's run into a buzzsaw here in Janoski, and now he's just trying to get a little respect out of this match.
He didn't like that at all. Did you see the look on his face?
Joe, at one point there, though, he got very aggressive on that shot, but as you can see, he came into the line with too much speed and was unable to hold his stance there.
Janoski going for his 7th straight is high. So a hand for 6 straight strikes for Rick Janoski.
Didn't quite get it out down the lane as far as he would have liked as he did on the other ones, and that caused the ball to come up short.
Now, does that take the pressure off now that he doesn't have the strike string going? Maybe get this spare and then start it all over again to finish the game?
Yeah, the thing Rick has to watch now,
he's
pretty much got this game in hand unless something extraordinary should happen. He wants to continue to try to throw strikes. He doesn't want to lay back because that often follows you into the next match. He's still got 2 matches ahead of him if he plans on winning this championship.
The last thing you want to do is be picking spares.
There you see the score through 7. This is Janoski's ball in the 8th, and he comes right back.
That's his ball. You notice that they don't throw a lot of speed. They lay it out there, let it pick up its roll, and then it comes charging back into the pocket. But it's not done with a lot of speed. It's more roll and spin.
Yeah, Rick has a soft touch on the ball, but it really comes up big in the back end for him.
He hasn't missed over there.
Now, that's Joey Cordish at his best right there. If he can get a strike here in 41, he still has a chance of winning this match.
He's not out of it yet, but he really needs to bang another one out over here.
That's 3 in a row now for Joe Cordish, who seemed to have found himself after an open in the 3rd. Started out with an open in the 1st. He's got 4, 5 marks in a row now. Working on 3 strikes in a row. Make it 4 now, and he's hanging in there.
He's forced Janoski here to mark. He can shut him out, but he has to mark in the 9th.
That's the great thing about this game, Dan. If you can keep the pressure on the other guy, you always have a chance.
And it changes so fast sometimes.
Yes, it does. Looks good, but high, and leaves that break once again. That's 6-10. That ball seemed to finish a little quicker than the other ones this afternoon, and drove into the head pin.
And I believe if he makes this, he puts it away.
He picks that up. He was a little worried at first when he threw it. 196 through 8. I think you're going to see a little worried look on his face here. Like, whoop, okay, I want 2, not 1.
Well, he picked the same spare last time
yeah,
up. That's
exactly.
Now, if he can mark in the 10th, he'll shut this match out.
Well, I'm sure he's very happy that that 8-pin back there decided it was going to kick its way out, because if he left the 2-8, it would have been a real interesting chance for him to get a mark to put Joe out of it.
Yeah, right now, if Rick makes his spare, he's the winner. If he should miss the spare, Joe Cordish can strike out to tie the match, and we'll have to have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
Wow.
And that's it.
He covers it. So make it 2 wins in a row now for Rick Janoski, who will finish off his 10th frame after picking up the spare. And Joe Cordish gave it a shot. He really did. He tried to come on and pull this one out, but it just wasn't going to happen. Joe will still come up and finish the 10th frame. What is that, 234? 234. That's a real nice game. Those 6 strikes in a row at the beginning really do the job, don't they?
Yeah, and Joe, who struggled for the first 5 frames, can finish out with 224.
That's not bad, is it? That's not going to happen, though, as he leaves the split, but at this point, it doesn't really matter.
So it'll be Rick Janoski against David Bainbridge out of Scranton. That'll be in the semifinal match. On the way to the Super 16 Men's Championship, the U.S. Open, and $1,000 expense money. Spare up for Joe Cordish.
Finishes with a 189.
That's the story on match number 2, and our congratulations to Joe Cordish for a fine effort in our Super 16 Bowling Championships. He is done, but Rick Janoski moves on, and we'll be back to see Rick Janoski face Dave Bainbridge in the next match. As you take a look at the final score of this one, we'll be right back.
If you are a smoker, you may have trouble doing this.
Happy anniversary! We quit smoking with cigarettes!
September the 10th, 1987. It's been 2 years and 3 months that I've quit smoking.
July 11th, 1988.
2 years since I've been smoke-free.
With Cigarest, you too can join this happy group of people who quit the smoking habit. No matter how much you smoke, no matter how long you've smoked, Cigarest can work for you. In as little as 7 days, you can celebrate your freedom from the smoking habit. Just listen to these success stories.
It was so easy. I just couldn't believe it. After 49 years.
So easy. It's very effortless.
After 5 days, I have never wanted another cigarette. And my friends who've been on much more expensive programs can't say that.
I'm the proudest of all when I can sit back and say I am now a non-smoker.
Where other programs cost more and fail, Cigarest will help you to quit smoking or your money back. Give yourself the gift of life and discover newfound joy as a non-smoker. Like millions who have tried Cigarest, give yourself something to celebrate. The end to your smoking habit.
May 25th, 1987.
June 13th, 1988.
March 12th, 87.
September 9th, 1988.
Do it now, and this time next year, you can be celebrating your anniversary. Be smoke-free like these people.
Happy anniversary! We quit smoking thanks to cigarettes!
To order your Cigarest, call toll-free 1-800-336-7272 or send $19.95 plus $4 postage and handling to Cigarest, Box 4444, Carlsbad, California 92008. This time next year, you could be a non-smoker. Call now, 1-800-336-7272. Order for yourself or a friend and you're guaranteed to quit smoking or your money back. Call 1-800-336-7272 now.
Welcome back to the Super 16 Bowling Championships, live from Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, and Rick Janoski moves up to take on the number 2 seed in the tournament, Dave Bainbridge. And the last time these two guys met, Dave Bainbridge lost to Rick Janoski 237 to 224, so these guys can really knock the pins down, Joe.
Well, Janoski, who started off the first game with 4 in a row, the second game with 6 in a row, and now up starting his 3rd match, trying to come out of the number 4 hole to win this thing.
He will bowl the first frame. Not a good start there.
A little bit tight, a little bit high again. He's not quite getting the ball out.
He'll try to pick up the 3-6. Covers it beautifully. So a mark up in the first for Rick Janoski, and now here's Dave Bainbridge from Scranton.
David bowled in a PBA regional tournament against Mark Rolfe. He rolled a 279 and lost. Rolfe bowled 289.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's kind of tough, isn't it? Thank you, 7-pin.
Yeah, Dave's trying to play in between the first and second arrow. He got that one right on the second arrow, maybe around 11th board. The result is a high hit and a 6-pin spare.
That 7 doesn't go down, and that's a real nasty way to start out a match. Looks like he's got the 6. So both players with a spare in the first frame. So we're all even at this point. Once again, if you're wondering why things look a little different right now, we're on lanes other than the ones we had designated for our TV lanes because of a ball return problem. And hopefully we're going to have our final match back on those TV lanes. In the meantime, we'll do it this way. Thank you for bearing with us. Wow, he's light with that hit there.
Now watch here, David get the ball out to the right further than he wants to. Opens up with the shoulder a little bit more than he'd like to, made the ball slide further, and as a result, it didn't finish as strong.
Definitely a makeable spare, though, the 2-4-10. He was a little too full on that number 2 pin to get it to slide over and pick that 10 off, so an open in the second. And Dave Bainbridge with 26 through 2. And Rick Janoski up in the second, working on a spare in the first. We've seen a lot of that from Rick on number 42 today.
And the one thing I've noticed about that ball, when he gets it there and puts it where he wants, he doesn't get the tap. You don't see any solid 10s or solid 8s. Everything is carried when he puts that ball out there.
Rick Janoski up in the third frame now, working on a strike in the second. Boy, he knew that one as soon as he threw it, too. He throws some pretty strikes, doesn't he? Dave Bainbridge now on an open, so with Rick throwing the double, he's already got some pressure on him to do something here, mark-wise. And he does it.
That came a long way back, didn't it, Dad?
Yeah, Dave is one of those players that gets a lot of lift on the ball, so he can afford to get it out closer to the channel once in a while, and it will come back for him. Whereas Rick likes to stroke through the ball a little bit more, but when Rick gets the right lift on it, he knows it, and it's right there.
And a little sigh of relief from Dave Bainbridge, whose semifinal average was 239. And first strike always makes you feel better once you get it under your belt. Well, he gets a good mix, but that 2-pin is not going to go down.
Dave's feet got a little bit ahead of the ball on that shot. As a result, the ball didn't hook up quite as strongly. 2-pin.
Looks like he's covered this. Picks up the spare in the fourth frame. And there you see Rick Janoski, who's up in the fourth frame now, working on a double. Oh, man.
Well, I mentioned that he hadn't left one of those solid ones, and that was pretty solid.
Yeah, that's one of those where he was walking away. He thought for sure he had the strike on there. Keeps this match close. He makes the spare. He's up 23 pins.
It's hard to believe that 7-pin can remain standing with all that going on down there.
And a very different and unique way for a righty to shoot at the 7-pin, and that is way over on the left side. Normally, you come from the right side and throw straight at it.
Why would he do that, Dan? Why would he not use the entire lane to try to go across?
Well, you'll see most bowlers go from right to left on left-hand spares because it gives you more lane to play with. However, Rick must be thinking that the oil concentration in the center of the alley might catch his ball and have him slide by it.
Speaking of sliding by, the 10-pin goes because of that. Now Rick puts up a strike in the fifth.
Guys who bowl 300 games get a couple of those in that. You really need to get those in there. And speaking of 300s, Dave Bainbridge has 23 of them.
Unbelievable. These guys really know how to do it. Here's Dave in the 5th now, working on a spare. No. And the 8-10.
He's still looking at him. He doesn't believe it. He wants to walk down there and at least kick one of them.
He gets right back up there. He wants to get this out of his way and out of his mind. He tries to crank that 10, see if he's going to get some splashback or something to pick up the 8, but it doesn't happen. So an open in the 5th. And Rick Janowski really with a chance to do some damage now as he will come up in the 6th as soon as Dave is done here. I'd say Dave really needs a mark now. There's the 2-10. Light once again on the head pin.
So Dave Bainbridge just not able to find what he's looking for out there, and that's really been his story.
He'll try to make this. He's going to want to hit the 2-pin on the left-hand side, have it go over and take the 10.
Looks good. Oh. Once again, not quite enough of a slice to get that to go over and take that 10 out of there. So that's 2 opens in a row. And Rick Janowski with a real golden opportunity to put this one away. We're going to take a break and be right back to see the completion of this one between Rick Janowski and Dave Bainbridge. There you see the score.
Give us a couple of Rolling Rocks, please. Repeat after me. We tender this premium beer. We tender this premium beer for your enjoyment. For your enjoyment. As a tribute to your good taste. As a tribute to your good taste. It comes from the mountain springs. It comes from the mountain springs. To you. To you. 33. 33? I now pronounce you man and beer.
Rolling Rock. Same as it ever was.
Win with the lilac.
Everybody wins when you bowl in the fastest growing tournament in the world. Call 1-800-36-LILAC and win. We're planning to pay over $900,000 in 14 great events. Enter the men's, women's, and mixed events. And
win with the lilac.
Enter now. There's team, doubles, and singles events. Everybody wins with a great time at the Lilac. Bowl in the fastest growing tournament with over $900,000 in prizes. Call now and
win with the lilac.
Ava Mataya on one of America's fastest growing sports.
When I play, I concentrate only on the game. And to do my best, it's important that the table is consistent and accurate. It all has to come together to be the best. And for me, that's Brunswick. Their tables are well made and beautifully designed. Whether competing in tournaments or having fun with family and friends, remember, the game is billiards. And the name is Brunswick.
Brunswick, a tradition of excellence since 1845.
The wackiest inventions ever. Tonight at 7 on WNEP.
Okay. We're back live at Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre for the completion of the 3rd match of our Super 16 Men's Championship. And Rick Janowski ready to go.
He has a commanding lead right now. Commanding, he's got 109 in the 5th. And he's looking at 75. He's got a 30-pin lead.
And all that does is make it bigger. A double now for Rick Janowski as he puts one up in the 6th. He's definitely got the line on lane 42, it seems. Going for a triple. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. No. No.
A little light and sort of scattered the pins around it, but that definitely could have fallen.
Yeah, Rick stroked that out a little bit further onto the lane than he's normal to. It still looked like a good enough shot for a strike. He thought he had it. Now he's looking at his spare to take a 56-pin lead.
I can't believe that stayed up. Once again, he plays that left side of the lane, and that hurt him that time.
Yeah, that's a difficult way to shoot spares. You got to be right on them, much more accurate than when you go cross lane. I would suggest to all bowlers to do the cross lane technique. Works much better.
Dave Bainbridge just about jumped out of the seat when he saw that because it gives him a life here.
Dave can still go to a 2:02 game. Rick is currently bowling at a 2:06 pace.
Fortunate there, Joe.
Well, not from his point of view. Fortunate would have been a strike at this stage of the game, and that definitely could have fallen. A little bit high, but I mean, you got to get all the breaks now.
Dave Bainbridge needs the spare in the 7th. Tries to cover the 7 and does it.
It's unusual to see Dave throw a game like this. I watch Dave bowl a lot. I grew up a lot with Dave bowling at Idaho and Valley Lanes. And he just doesn't seem to know how he wants to hit his mark. He gets one in and a little soft, and he goes through the nose, and then he gets the next one out, and he comes in light. He's still searching.
Is that 10 going to go?
It is not. And you know, that's the one disadvantage when you play in a one-game match for everything. You have to find it fast.
He picks up the spare in the 8th frame. And now Rick Janowski bowling in the 8th. There you see the score. Janowski strikes in the 8th. Not that time.
Got a little bit softer on that shot. Let's see here. He doesn't accelerate through the ball as much as he does when he throws the strikes. Nice and soft through that one.
He covers the 10 pin for the spare, giving him 166 through 8 frames.
And the best, I believe, that Bainbridge can do is 181. So he's not shut out yet.
Well, what would Rick need, like 6 pins in the 10th to win it?
Well, this is the ball right here. And that's the end.
Yeah, Dave never found a shot in this match.
And now, since we're running a little bit behind, we could actually go to a commercial here. We could go to a commercial here, come back, and be ready to bowl that last game.
He picks up the 2-8. Nice shot on a very difficult spare.
But it's all over. David Bainbridge will sit down, and Rick Janowski will move on to the championship match against the #1 seed, Jimmy Hurst, out of Scranton.
And I'll tell you, Rick Janowski spent a lot of time on TV today. People are going to know what he looks like. He'll be signing autographs for the next month. And how about that? Is that ironic? Why is this game like that?
Dave made a move there just so he can know that he can figure these lanes out. That's a accomplishment for him that he can go home with. He's very disappointed at this time. This is not by any means the Dave Bainbridge that bowled last week. Dave, one of the best players in the Scranton area.
Make it 2 in a row.
And now he's shaking his head saying, yeah, where were you in the third frame?
That's what keeps you coming back, isn't it, Dan? Being able to find that line again and knowing you can do it?
Yeah, well, these players, they're all tough, and they like the challenge. And sometimes when things are really bad, that's when they accept the challenge and come out and find what it takes to become a good bowler.
So he's got another one. Finishes with a turkey.
And Rick Janowski needs 4 pins.
A final of 169, Joe, for Dave Bainbridge.
He needs no pins.
He still wants to stay tough on these shots because he has a big match ahead of him against Jim Hurst.
Oh, that's not a big finish, is it?
Well, if he can make this split and then get a strike, he's got a possible 203, which is exactly what he had in the last game, I do believe, or the first game this afternoon. And that's it. The final score in this one, Rick Janowski 192, Dave Bainbridge 169. And guess what's coming up next? The championship match in our Super 16 Bowling Championship. As you take a look at the final score of this one, Rick Janowski moves on. We'll be right back.
Now, at a pro shop near you, Brunswick is delivering a 100% urethane monster. We're delivering the power of a Rhino. The hardest charging ball in America. 5 distinct formulations. Brunswick's Rhino reigns.
Janitor to the pro shop, please.
Okay, guys, I'm closing up early tonight.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night, sweetheart.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Rolling Rock, same as it ever was.
Bowling is fun and exciting and, best of all, inexpensive. It's the perfect family sport in northeastern and central Pennsylvania, the bowling capital of the East. Our bowling fun centers provide a great indoor winter sport that the whole family loves. Bowling's back and better than ever, and each area center has its own unique extras that make your night out really special. Food, fun, friends. At your participating northeastern and central Pennsylvania Bowling Fun Center, look for the colorful red, white, and blue banner. If you haven't bowled for a while, come see what you've been missing.
Each participant in today's Super 16 Bowling Championship will receive a pair of Endicott Johnson and Dexter bowling shoes, a Rhino bowling ball, and a bag by Brunswick, all courtesy of Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply Company of Hazleton.
Welcome back live, Stanton Lanes in Wilkes-Barre, as we get ready for the championship match. Rick Janowski, who's moved all the way up to take on #1 seed Jim Hurst. And Joe, this should be a good one.
This is Mr. Hurst, the #1 seed out of Scranton.
And watch the acceleration of that arm swing. That's where he gets the power.
Plus, he's a pretty big guy. He makes that ball look so small.
And Rick Janowski, who is on a roll, he's won 3 matches. Will start it off.
That reminds me of the ball he started out last game.
Yeah, we call that placing the ball. Rick tried to place the ball onto his target, and as a result, he didn't get as much lift on it as he needs to get the ball to slide down the lane and then finish in strong.
So the 3-6-10 waiting for him down there. He's got it. And a mark up in the first frame for Rick Janowski.
Very interesting. He throws at the spares from the right side. He bowls across lane. But the spares on the left side, he tries to bowl straight on. I'm sure that's something he figures he's figured out.
Here's Jim Hurst now, the top seed in the tournament. A student at Bloomsburg. Boom. He's got quite a few supporters back here as he starts out with a strike.
The Jim Hurst fan club is sitting right behind us.
Watch this arm swing now. He'll bring it up high, and then the acceleration right down through the shot.
Wow.
And he does that while in timing, and that's the key.
Very intense.
So a strike up. He has 3 lifetime 300 games and a high series of 792 in a league.
Now, Jimmy here asked for a re-rack. Actually, he just took it. You're allowed 1 free re-rack. After that, you have to get permission from the tournament director.
And you'll certainly give it to him, right?
Well, today, I'm not the tournament director. Tony Receiveth is. I'm sure Tony would.
In the second. That's 2. And Jim is an emotional bowler, probably showing the most emotion of any bowler we've had here today, or anywhere for that matter. Although Louis DeJoseph, our boys winner, was pretty emotional.
It's all power, folks. Just
there he is. Look at that.
There.
Yeah, he likes it. Rick Janowski now up in the second, working on a spare in the first. That's not going to help.
Yeah, Rick pulled back a little on that shot. He has to stay with the ball as it goes down towards his target. He cannot pull back on the ball or it will hook early, or sometimes it might slide too far and go right by the head pin.
The 4, 6, 7.
He's got to go for 2 here. Match is too early.
It's exactly what he does. And open in the second for Rick Janowski.
Well, we know he's capable. We saw him roll 6 in a row there in the second game when he had a 234, so, and was on these 2 alleys.
That's right back.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to stay with the ball right through the shot.
The last time on this lane, as you said, he kind of placed the ball. That time he threw it the way he should be throwing it. Nice and easy. Jim Hurst up now in third, working on a double. That one goes high, and there's another nasty split.
Did you see how far that ball came back from? That was headed right for the channel.
Now, what you saw there, that wasn't all that bad a shot, except he did pull up a little, lost a little speed. But the boards out by the channel are drier than the ones he's playing. So when the ball hooked, it hooked stronger.
The 6, 7, 10. He's going for it. Gets the double wood on the right for an open in the third. And Rick Janowski with a chance as Jim opens in the third. Jim Hurst, our top seed. Last time these 2 bowled, he defeated Rick Janowski 223 to 213. A strike up in the fourth, recovering from that open.
And a much different line. He's at least 3 boards to the left over on that lane.
Actually, what he did there, he got that ball more on target, more direct than he did on the right lane. I think he's trying to play both in around the second arrow.
And Rick is thankful that that 7 did not stay standing. So he has a fairly easy spare shot here to pick up the 6. Kind of talking to the lane a little bit, like, hey, what are you doing to me here? Looks like he's covered this. He does. So he's 9 pins back in the third.
Looked like a lazy finish to me, Dan. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think his thumb stayed in the ball a little bit long on that shot. You heard the pop that I haven't heard him throw a ball all day where his thumb popped.
And really, just what he didn't need, too, was a bad count on a spare. He only picks up the 6 count. And a spare that's definitely makeable, but not the easiest one in the world. The 1-2, 8-10. And he's unable to convert.
And now
71 through 5.
Hurst smells an opening right here. Dan, I think he's made the adjustment there. He's really brought it in now, not quite so far out on that outside line.
Yeah, and what you see there is Jim responding to Rick's open. He had the opportunity there to put the hammer down, and he just went up there full of aggression, took 10 pins out.
There you see his semifinal average of 238. Not too shabby. Going for a triple. Well,
trying to catch that fall from behind.
The 4 pin is left.
Came in just a little bit high there. Needs this to have a 33 pin lead.
Oh.
And there's the reason why Rick shoots his spares from the left-hand side. Jimmy's ball got in the heavy oil there and didn't hook. It slid down the lane.
Now that really helped Rick out.
This one is wide open. Nobody really wants to take this one. This is for everything. U.S. Open and $1,000 expense money.
Happy to get that back. Rick Janowski, so he takes advantage of the open by Jim Hurst in the 6th frame. Can't do it better than that.
Yeah, Rick got all the lift and turn on that ball. As you notice, he got that further to the right than normal for him, but because of all the lift and turn, the ball made it back.
Janowski in the 7th now.
Softened up.
Crossed over. Not quite enough. And the 610 is left.
Important spare. He'll be only trail by 21 with the spare.
That's the 2nd time this afternoon that Rick has failed to convert on that and chop through. And that really hurts. See Jim Hurst checking the shoe. There's the score, 99 through 7 for Rick Janowski. Jim Hurst, 112 through 6 on an open frame.
Jim has a pair of bowling shoes that have inserts in the soles, so he can control the amount of slide he gets on his last step.
The 10 kicks. So a strike on the 7th. Yeah, he likes what he sees. A student at Bloomsburg University, Jim Hurst, Jr. from Scranton. Our top seed. Going for a double. Bullet kick. Oh, that number 9 ain't going to go. That's the one thing about these guys who throw the ball hard. You can't take anything for granted because something might come flying back and take that out of there. And for the spare, he's got it.
.132 up in the 7th, and a mark, and Rick Janowski now needs to throw about 4 in a row.
And we're going straight through this match, folks. No break. So these guys are going to have to keep going. Janoski, yes, in the 8th. And he really needed to pull that one off.
He needs to string him right now.
What he needs to do is get something done on lane 41 here, because he's had a problem with it.
Exactly. If he can strike here and then put 3 in the 10th, he'll end up with a 189. Jim is currently going at a 192 pace.
Oh, it's definitely a close match. Anybody's at this point. Nope. And the 2-8 are going to stay up. And he just looks back and says, I don't know what to tell you about this one.
Well, he came from the number 4 spot, won his first game, 203, and then at 234. Last game he won at 192, so he's won 3 matches, but right now he is in trouble.
Needs to make this spare.
Nice cover. He does the job.
So Jim Hurst can shut him out.
He bowls in the 9th. And he can feel it now.
That's about as powerful a shot as we've seen today at a time where he has Rick down.
He needs 8 pins, I believe, to wrap it up.
And he wants another re-rack. He wasn't satisfied with the way the 5 and 9 were set up there.
And just as Dan said, he asked the tournament director, and the tournament director said, okay.
Yeah, and what Jim saw there, it looks to me as though the 5 pin may be a little bit left, a little bit more towards the 7. Not the kind of rack that Jim wants to shoot at.
He needs 8 pins here to put it away.
And he's not taking anything for granted.
There it is.
That's it. There's your men's champion.
A fitting way for him to finish as far as the final clincher. A strike. Yes. Back to lives. He continues in the 10th. Another one. And the cheer goes up as he shakes Rick Janoski's hand. Rick still will bowl in the 10th, but this one is over. And Jim Hurst, our top seed, will try to finish with 4 in a row.
1 for the crowd.
Looks good. There it is. He does it. There's our Super 16 men's champion in the background there, Jim Hurst of Scranton. Rick Janoski will finish it out now, and Jim ends up with a 212. A 212.
A great effort, though, today by Rick Janoski, who had to beat 3 other guys to get here.
How about fatigue in this for Rick, Dan?
Oh, definitely today there had to be the fatigue, the mental fatigue with the breakdown and the waiting.
And a little gesture there by Janoski, sort of as he congratulates Hurst with that move.
Now, these guys all pretty much know each other here and there from tournaments. It's amazing how this bowling fraternity, how the area is so large, but people know each other. And that's the nice thing about bowling. Brings a lot of people together.
Yeah, and what these guys do, they go to the house tournaments that are held in Pennsylvania. They get together every now and then on weekends to bowl. They've all seen each other bowl before. They've all bowled against each other.
He covers the spare and finishes with a 159, but the big winner is that man right there, Jim Hurst of Scranton, our Super 16 men's bowling champion. He'll be going to the U.S. Open and taking with him a gorgeous trophy and also $1,000 cash. We'll be back to talk with the winner right
Today's Super 16 Bowling Championship is brought to you by AMF Bowling Equipment and their area distributor, Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply Company, Hazleton.
It takes a careful, loving hand to make a really great pizza. We're talking great pizza here. Your choice of crunchy pan pizza or regular crispy. Only Checkers takes the care in making your pizza that a local corner pizza shop would. Then we deliver it right to your door, free within 29 minutes. And right now, order pan or regular, regular or pan, pan and pan, or regular and regular. And we'll king you. 2 12-inch Checkers pizzas for only $7.99 for a limited time only. Pick up the phone and order some great pizza now.
Now you can enjoy one of the world's most famous and stirringly beautiful voices anytime you want. Her music is so popular, she has received 130 gold record awards. And now we proudly present Nana Mouskouri's Return to Romance Treasury. Here's all the Nana Mouskouri magic that has captivated audiences in 42 countries. Tender love songs just for you. Write this address down and send to Return to Romance now. Hear heart-touching favorites like these. Classic arias of incredible beauty. Write down this address and send $12.98 to Return to Romance now. Indicate your choice of 2 records or 2 cassettes. Compact disc is only $16.98. The most romantic treasury we've ever offered.
There's a time.
Not sold in any store. Send $12.98 to Return to Romance at this address now.
For great family fun, it's Southside Bowl and Idle Hour Lanes in Scranton. Bowling makes a great family night out, and league play may be that competitive edge you've been looking for. Both offer birthday party packages, bumper bowling for the kids, and senior discounts. And there's lots of fun to be had in the Sleepy Hollow Lounge or Poor Richards, plus game rooms, billiards, and snacks. Southside Bowl and Idle Hour Lanes offer automatic scorers and open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Southside Bowl, Idle Hour Lanes. Come see what you've been missing.
And there is our winner, the men's Super 16 champion, Jim Hurst Jr. of Scranton. There is the winning shot. And you know what it is. It's a strike as he bowls at 212 to take the men's Super 16 bowling championship. And Jim, were you worried at all that Rick Janoski, who had bowled 3 games and done so well, was going to be a tough guy to beat this afternoon?
I saw Rick throwing well the game before me, and I just knew I'd have to come in and throw some quality shots.
Oh, you did the job, and congratulations. And for that job, there you go, the Super 16 Large Men's Championship Trophy. And I hope you enjoy it, and $1,000 to go along with it. And good luck in the U.S. Open, okay? All righty. There he is. And, Joe, you have a friend here that you want to talk to for just a second before we go.
Certainly a friend of bowling, Doug Gebhardt, who really helped put this tournament on. You sponsored this in a big way, providing balls, bags, and shoes for all the contestants. Your impressions of the first ever tournament?
I'd like to say thank you to Channel 16. They did a great job in producing this. Also, thank you to the Bowling Proprietors Association that put this all together. Dick and Dan Gizzi, I think they just did a marvelous job. And my congratulations to the winner, Jim Hurst.
And we all, of course, thank you for your support of bowling and helping us put on the great Super 16 championship. Timmy?
Well, Joe, that's just going to about wrap it up for us here. We want to thank everyone for watching this afternoon. Our great crew, as always, and our Super 16 Bowling Championships, I think, have been a great success. We've seen some great bowling. Our congratulations to all the champions. Joe, always nice working with you. And we'll see you all once again. Have yourself a wonderful weekend as we take a look at the men's Super 16 champion, Jim Hurst, Jr. of Scranton. So long, everybody.
Today's Super 16 Bowling Championship has been brought to you by Rolling Rock, same as it ever was, and by Gebhardt Billiard and Bowling Supply, Hazelton. This has been another live and exclusive sports presentation from WNEP TV 16. We're proud to serve all of northeastern and central Pennsylvania.
There you are! Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. Why, there's over 1 million people in there sweating to the oldies, and you're missing all the excitement. Well, don't worry, because we're moving this aerobic party to your house with sweating to the oldies, too. And, honey, if you thought the first workout was a blast, then you ain't seen nothing yet. Because with sweating, too, the party's just begun!
Backyard right now, I guess it's going to get perhaps slippery out there.
All depends on where you're going, Jim. Here in the backyard so far, it's been above freezing. The sidewalk is just plain wet out here. Temperature about 34, 35 degrees all evening. The biggest problems I've been hearing so far down to the Poconos and also north toward the New York State border, places like Bradford and seen by a zero.
I understand tonight you have some more information on him.
Yes, we do have a much clearer understanding of what went on with Darryl Strawberry. New York Met outfielder Darryl Strawberry's turbulent career took another bad turn earlier today. Or maybe it was a good turn. 27-year-old outfielder entered the Smithers Center in Manhattan, that building there, to treat what the Mets call an alcohol problem. Strawberry flew from his home in Los Angeles yesterday and walked into the center on his own free will today. The basic Smithers Center stay is 28 days. And this measure comes after a rocky year for Strawberry, where he batted a dismal .225. Strawberry was arrested 8 days ago, charged with beating his wife and threatening her with a gun. Strawberry is entering his final year of a 6-year contract and will earn $1.88 million this season with the Mets. Pitt University defensive tackle and former West Scranton High School gridiron standout Mark Spindler said today that he will forego his senior year at Pitt and will petition the NFL to be included in the April draft. Spindler joins a fast-growing list of prominent college underclassmen who have decided to turn pro early. Mark Spindler led Pitt with 73 regular season tackles and was a second-team AP All-American. Several local college teams in action tonight playing head-to-head. We went to Bloomsburg, where the Huskies hosted East Stroudsburg University. We'll pick this one up in the first half. East Stroudsburg on the base, some nice passing. Todd Payton to Ed Urey. Eastburg was still down by 2, but Bloomsburg looked just as good. Bill Connolly to Rob Gluck. Bloomsburg up by 2. Not to be outdone, East Stroudsburg Cliff Smith will get the pass and slam it home as they go up by 2. Then Bloomsburg goes inside. That's Dave Carpenter with nice move. He gets it, plus the foul. Bloomsburg was up by 5. And East Stroudsburg was trying to win against Bloom for the first time since '81. They'll have to try again next time in 3 overtimes. Bloomsburg downs East Stroudsburg 91-80, the final score. The Wilkes University Colonels hosted Lycoming College tonight at the Mart Center. We'll check out some game action. Wilkes in yellow. Rayot's shot will be blocked. He'll come up here with a short jumper. It's blocked, but Tom Dowdy rebounds and puts the bucket in for the Colonels. But Lycoming will come back with a big 3-point basket for the Warriors after the out pass. Jay Seckler with the nice net shot. Wilkes on the fast break. Jimmy Nolan will bring this one up the court for the lane. Nolan's one of the leading scorers in Division III basketball. Another Lycoming three-pointer from the corner by John Oberlin. Wilkes downs Lycoming 82-74. Now to the rolling scoreboard with the winners on top. The women in our area had a busy basketball night as well tonight. The Lady Huskies of Bloomsburg tipped off at home against the Lady Warriors from East Stroudsburg. Picking this one up late in the game in the second half, East Stroudsburg, Claudine Simmerd on the break. Nice move plus the foul. Eastburg was down by 10. Simmerd again. This time she goes straight down the middle and banks it in. That put Eastburg down just by 6 after the foul shots. But Bloom goes on a run. Off the break, the great pass by Kathy McGuire to Barb Hall for the layup. Bloomsburg was up by 8. Then McGuire takes it herself. Super move to the hoop. She puts Bloomsburg up by 10, and that's the way they win it. 72-62, the final score. Now to the women's and then college wrestling scoreboards. Roll them, guys. Big high school wrestling match in the Wyoming Valley tonight pitted Lake Lehman against the home squad of Wyoming Valley West. Pick it up in the 125-pound class match. Valley West Tom Morvinsky. He's on top there. He'll pin Lake Lehman's Charlie Jacoby for the 6-point pin for Wyoming Valley West. And then in the 135 class, this one was won by Lake Lehman's Jason Mogul. He got the pin and 6 points over Valley West John Doyle in just 3 minutes and 36 seconds. And here come the rolling scoreboards, starting with wrestling, then boys and girls basketball. Remember, the winners are on top. If you saw a lot of zeros, please don't forget, if your game was postponed due to bad weather, please call it in just so we know, and always call in those scores. Well, we're going to get to the bowling tournament. The last of WNEP's Super 16 bowling tournaments was televised live earlier today. The men's championship game. The winner of the tournament receiving $1,000 and a spot in the U.S. Open bowling tournament. The men's top seed was Scranton's James Hurst Jr. Hurst faced Rick Janoski of Exeter in the finals. Jim Hurst, a student at Bloomsburg University, bowled an impressive 212 in the championship matchup, defeating Janoski by 53 pins, capturing the first men's Super 16 bowling championship, along with $1,000 and a spot in the U.S. Open. And here's the finish for the first men's Super 16 championship. Here's how all the men fared.